My parents met at Boston Museum School, and both were taking art. My mother was a sculptor, and my dad was a painter. And he got a sculpture, or he got a scholarship to travel to Italy, and that's where I was conceived on the way, born there. And I lived there a year, but I think it affected my perception. Having kids of my own, I can see that that first year is really, you're really soaking it in, and I must have really soaked it in because they took me to museums, and that's what they were there to do, is see art. So that's what I was doing my first year. So I grew up in an art family and really didn't have a choice. I tried not to. I started late because I really didn't want to do it, but I couldn't help it. I started to pursue art when my first child was born. I was 24, and I realized that I had a real heavy choice to make as to what I would do. I had to make a decision which direction my life was going to go in. And it was like follow my heart or follow my head. And I chose following my heart because I wanted to hand that off to her. Let's see, my first sculpture pretty much was done on a dare. I had been making surfboards and boats, amusement park rides, prototypes of different shapes. When I did my first sculpture, my wife was pregnant with my first child. And I realized that I had a talent for it, for making shapes. And so I started thinking about what could I do of value to the world with that ability. When I started doing sculpture, I figured everyone did the female form because it's the most beautiful thing in the universe to me, and it looks like to everybody pretty much agrees with that. And I looked around, and Michelangelo hadn't really done it. Rodin had barely done it, a little bit, but not much. I really didn't see much female sculpture, shockingly enough. I mean, we've been doing this for 3,000 years, and I thought there would be much more. And to me, it's just the most beautiful shape in the universe. There's no comparison. And if I'm going to make a shape, I'm going to make that shape. And then mixed with, but it has always been mixed with, there's a person just like me living in that shape. And what is it like for them? How are they expressing their life? And to me, I get to mix my favorite thing in the world, which is beautiful women, and my change the world statement, which is see the humanity in them, and I've been doing it ever since. I think that there has been, throughout history, a problem or an issue around feminine beauty or women at all. And there's just so much charge involved with it that it's hard to approach it. And for me, I kind of do it as from that little kid space of, I've always thought they were stunningly beautiful. I've always felt, since I was, before I could have any relationships, saw humanity in them. I'm just talking about what do they really do in real life? Normally, just honestly, what do they honestly do? And that, I don't think Rodin liked women. I don't think Michelangelo could have sculpted women because it wasn't really allowed then. But now, it's okay. My main focus is the individual person and their humanity expressed through their body. When I started doing this work, I thought everybody did that because it's so obvious to me that that's the basic truth of life. I figured that's what everybody's doing, and it took me quite a long time to realize that that isn't what, I don't really know anyone else who does that work. They usually have women expressing some idea about femininity or beauty or some kind of story about desire or something, and not just who is this person right now. And that to me is the whole point.
Your most cherished work of art?
I guess my kids, honestly. And that's the fun part of having kids, is that it makes everything else secondary. So, so my life focus is my children, and they're doing good. And so that's my best work, was to be supportive of who they were. It's the same basic thing as I do in my work, is who are you really? Be that.